Alright. Are we good? Seems like it. Alright, so I'm just gonna start the runs so we have a decent amount of time just kind of sitting here waiting. So time starts now. Oh, not tabbed into the game. There we go. Now it's working. So right here, very beginning is basically just a tutorial. We're just going to be learning about what each of the characters do. So for her, she has a special ability where she can just buy items from people. Which, our first item, I think we're just going to be buying like a bottle of wine or something like that to just progress the story forward. She'll be coming up very shortly, right here. So essentially every character in the game has a different ability that they have attached to them. Tressa's, which is the character that we're playing as, can, like I said, buy things, and that's about it. Other characters have things like they can get information from people to find new items. Other ones can basically, I don't know what to explain it as, but they just like can allure other NPCs around, and they all have different abilities. So pretty sure one of the people in this town has like a really high damaging sword that's good to pick up, but we don't get any of those. We don't actually need them since we have other abilities that do much more damage. So now the tutorial section's pretty much done and we're off to actually like do fights. I think the story is along the lines of pirates come in, pirates are bad, so we're buying something to put the pirates to sleep by drugging them, which is an interesting way to start off the game. And the non-encounter is always guaranteed to be the exact same every single time you come in here. Which is, I'm going to be a little bit safe and I'm going to break the enemies before running away. Which is a little bit slower, but typically it's a bit safer as well, since you don't have to worry about getting hit and dying. So every enemy in the game has a weakness. All of them can be different. But for the most part, everything here is either weak to spear or bow, which is what Tressa's main abilities are. So I'm just going to be breaking them guarantees that I can run away safely. There we go. And here's one of the weird cutscenes of the game, where for some reason, it's actually faster to not skip this one here. It's actually faster to just mash the single text box. So not only can you mash the text box faster, it also loads faster by not skipping it, which is bizarre. I think it loses around like 4 seconds, which is silly. Here, pirates all fell asleep, and we're gonna go and actually do the first boss of the game, which is incredibly quick. Really good encounter. Oh, thank you, Tressa, for surprising him. So these enemies are all asleep, so we don't actually have to break them. We can just immediately run away from them, which is really nice. It helps us out quite a bit. It makes so, for the most part, there's only one encounter in here that can actually deal damage to us, and we didn't get it. Good. Otherwise, we'd have to heal before the next fight because we need to make sure that we're above a certain amount of health. We can get really unlucky with turn order and just kind of get melted, which is not good. Alright. This is actually not bad turn order, surprisingly. What's next? I should be gonna do that. If I have to heal this turn, otherwise I will for sure die. Probably will heal one more time. Yeah. Gonna heal here. I have to waste an extra turn anyway. Might as well just do it now.
So I'm really sorry to interrupt your flow here, but I do have something for you. I just got word we got a snipe on the language moments before we closed it.
Oh, I can fix that. Yeah, it takes like a couple seconds. Okay. It's to English, right?
Yep.
Alright, I will fix that. There we go. First boss is dead. Fights in this game are very complicated, so it's hard to try and explain fully what's going on in them, especially with that one where I have to pay attention to the turn order, I have to pay attention to my health, I have to pay attention to my SP, as well as how many attacks I've done to each of the bosses, because if you over damage them, then they start going into a very scary phase, which I don't want to deal with. You said English voice? Okay. There we go. And now the tutorial's done. Now we're going to go off and we're just going to tag a bunch of locations and essentially just get the map opened up and pick up a bunch of chests for money and a couple of items. So if you have anything to read or any donations, this would be the best time. Oh yeah, I should also explain here. So this route specifically, we actually want... Oh! Okay, well we got it. Cool. I wasn't expecting that. This enemy only has a 3% encounter rate. So getting that is incredibly lucky there. And I can actually explain it. So we get 150 JP, which is job points, and that's how we teach abilities. We get 1,000 XP and 1,000 money, I believe? It's something like that. The major thing is definitely just the JP. We don't really care about much else. So, it's a 3% encounter. I was fully expecting to load up a safety save on that. Kate. So, the way that those enemies spawn is also incredibly weird and rare, and it's awkward. Where it's not a guaranteed spawn in an area, it has to load in a fight and then replace the enemy in said fight. And so if you get an encounter with more than 1 or 2 enemies, you can actually have just any of them be replaced. Which is kind of I don't know, the mechanics behind it are still not fully understood. But now that we got it, we don't have to load the safety save, which is kind of insane. Was not expecting to get that on the marathon, especially on the first encounter of the run outside of the tutorial section. Of course, even with being level 14 now, we gained 12 levels, I want to say. We now still have to worry about not being able to flee from encounters. Thank you, Tressa. Here we're gonna walk because of a mechanic in the game called step count. Basically, that's how it works with encounters, is the more more distance you move throughout the map, the counter starts moving and changing as well. Let's hope that we flee. Okay, let me see what my health is after this and what the turn order is. I can try and... Just kidding. Alright, so this section's a little bit sketchy, because depending on how you get hit, not always the best. I just have to try and run. Damn it. Alright. Well, that sucks. Screen's a little bit weird, but like I was saying, step counts... You can get lucky with that screen, or you can get incredibly unlucky. We don't want an encounter, and walking at this moment is actually better for us, and so we're going to continue walking over there, even though it's significantly slower than walking, but it prevents us from getting an encounter about here. Instead, we have the ability to, well, sometimes get all the way inside of the cave. Please let me flee, game. That would be great if you did. Okay. As long as I don't die, which I probably will. Yeah. I'm getting really unlucky since I keep getting crit as well, so my damage ranges are very off. Well, the Kate luck at least happened. I'm just gonna run this time because obviously we're having bad luck. Might as well just get there a little bit quicker. Oh, we got a surprise. Okay, now we can freely. Cool. That's really bad luck. normally you can run away from that encounter, but I kept getting a bunch of crits and that was causing me to die. Here is a job, which we're only picking up 2 of these. We're picking up the Scholar for one of its abilities, and we're picking up the Merchant, which is also what our class is currently for another ability. These are incredibly useful, mostly just like I said for their ability and their skill, not really anything else. Okay, now we have evasive maneuvers. Evasive maneuvers basically gets rid of the need for step count. Ooh. There we go. The button a little bit too quick. So now we can just run everywhere. It's actually going to be worse for us to walk with evasive maneuvers because it actually counts as the step count going lower, like faster than with less distance than simply sprinting, which is kind of bizarre. Don't know why it's designed that way, but it is. So if you ever see me walking, it's usually at this point for a little bit more precise of movement, not as much for trying to avoid encounters like I was in the beginning. Now here's just kind of boring stuff. We're picking up chests. We're going to be picking up a lot of the things called soul stones, which we'll be using in the majority of the fights coming up. Don't actually think there's a single fight in this run that we don't use a soul stone on. And we're also going to be picking up a lot of money because, as you'll see later on, we have a very busted ability where we can spend money to higher damage. And when we're going to be beating this game at around 14, when the game recommends you being around 50, having any extra help is incredibly nice. Since late game, we're able to start dealing around 24,000 damage per turn, whereas if we don't, we're only dealing like 12, which definitely is a pretty big jump in difference. And now we're just going to go tag up another town, so that way we can go ahead and actually get our next party member. We're not going to pick him up quite yet, but we're heading in that general direction. In fact, before we actually start his quest, we need to go shopping, which is where we're going to be heading next. Going to the main... It's a pay-to-win game. It is a pay-to-win game. Oh, it's great. Hired help is such a busted mechanic in this run, or really any run. Like, even the 100% runs that get much higher level than we are still use hired help quite a lot. Not sure who would consider it spoiler, so I don't want to necessarily like say the name of what the in the category is, but the true ending run essentially will use hired help for a majority of the beginning, and then they at that point are overpowered enough that they can rely on other damage sources, which sadly we won't be picking up because those are very out of the way and very slow for us to get. Okay, so I'm going in there because it's a little bit safe. I'd rather not die. Anytime you transition a room, it actually resets your step count. That's something I forgot to say. And as you'll see coming up, also resetting your save will go ahead and also fix the step count. So we're going up to this save point right there, which you might be able to see in the background. And we're going to save our game, and we're immediately going to just quit and load back in. It makes it so that way we can actually get to the next room safer and not worry about dying. Come on. You don't need to do this, but overall it's significantly safer, and I don't think you'll see a runner not doing that save there. Here we're going to pick up the merchant job, which we will be putting on probably in the next like 20 minutes, I want to say. It's like, yeah, it's around 20 minutes from now that we're going to be putting it on. And that's, I also think the first time that we're going to be able to see the absolute damage and destruction that hired help will do. For now, we're still just running around tagging locations and can go shopping. Another interesting tidbit of information with step count is moving in diagonals is actually preferred over just straight lines. You are able to move in a little bit further of a distance without actually increasing your step count by much. So if you ever see me like running in straight diagonal lines when it theoretically would be better for me to run in a straight, it's because it makes it so step count's a little bit nicer. So coming up, I'll be like cutting across a couple corners just because at that point I don't have to worry as much about an encounter. We still could get an encounter on the screen, yeah. Hopefully I'm fine, please. Damn it. We're having marathon luck, very fun. We got an amazing start and then immediately it falls apart. It's okay, we have a very large estimate to deal with any unfortunate things such as that. So 9 times out of 10 you'll be fine on the screen, but occasionally you'll just have the step count value be set so low that you can't actually make it through there. And we're in a very high level area compared to what we are. Is that 2 times in a row? Oh my god. Okay. Thank you, marathons. So yeah, we're level 14. In a level 35 area. We're about to be walking into a 45 area, so any encounter is just going to immediately wipe us. And yeah, this is not normally this bad. Same as the encounter before picking up the Scholar Shrine was not typically ever that bad. Please make it. There we go. And just to be safe, I'm going to be picking up this and then resetting my step count by walking back into the same location. Again, you don't have to do this, but it makes it way safer. And at this point, I can guarantee that I won't get an encounter until after the save. Just to bring out the revolver, you're not wrong. That's what happens with marathons. Wow! What? Why? This is some of the worst luck I think I've ever had. Cool. Shoutouts to that. I still don't have to pick up the money or the Wendell chest again. Just have to get the money one. Unless I'm doing my movement horribly wrong, this should not happen often, ever. More than likely going to get another encounter here, aren't I? Because the game is just being incredibly mean. You guys get to see some of the variety of enemy types. And listen to the different battle themes, which we won't get to hear. Since every ring in this world or in this map that you go through, cool, we didn't get an encounter, thank God. Shit, this is the Tressa runs. It's so rare to get encounters like that. It's awful. I got decent luck with the Kate, and then the rest of it was just like, nah, we're gonna be mean. Okay, though, we get to go shopping. Okay, we got a discount. That's always nice to see. Grabbing a chest for an item to sell later. Okay, second discount. have a 53. A 53, I think, was my old P. Oh, I just want the slow way. Alright, we're finally picking up our first character. There we go. So we want to do a selection there of saying, yes, we want to take him on the party, but we don't want to listen to his story. Otherwise, we have to go through his entire tutorial section, which is, no. It's incredibly long and boring for his, since you actually have to do a bunch of, like, forced encounters, which nobody wants to sit through. Wow! This encounter look is actually awful. What is this? Again, you shouldn't ever have an encounter here. Thank you, game. So this is the first fight that you get to see the absolute destruction that is hired help. We spent a bit of money and we one-shot them. Very nice. I'm gonna explain step count a little bit more since I didn't really fully go into it. So there's like I said, the hidden value in the game, right? That makes it so that way that once it depletes down to 0, that's when you get an encounter. It has a random amount that it can give you every time you get an encounter or switch screens. And so when I'm saying I'm getting bad luck, it's not even because of movement, it's entirely because the game is like, oh, you only have, let's say, 100 steps instead of 120. On average, you typically don't worry about things like that, but this run is being very mean. Why are you here again? It's Thunderell. That's right. So that's the power of Soul Stones, by the way. Just to kind of obliterate things. Wanted to make sure I used the right one. I couldn't remember if it was a Thunder or a Wind Owl. I just had my brain kind of die for a second. Alright, and now we're going to pick up our third character, which doesn't require nearly as much running around and backtracking, thankfully. We're just going to go immediately to the desert, we're going to pick her up, and then we're going to destroy her boss with a bomb, and that's pretty much it. Sadly, this is the last boss that just completely gets deleted by a soul stone, like a single soul stone. After this, we actually have to put a little bit of effort in. I guess that makes the run more entertaining, doesn't it? Another chest that we're going to use to sell later. Since the end of the game, we're picking up a lot of things simply so we have money for the end game. We need to make sure that we have around 88,000 at the very end. Because if we don't, then we're going to be crying. Because you need exactly 90,000 to be able to do the fight correctly. After the 90,000, you actually want to use another ability that the merchant has, which is called Collect. And you want to steal money from the final boss, and she drops 30,000, and that 30,000 is used for your final hired help. And that's how you kill her, is you basically steal money and beat her up with it. Alright, and this soul stone right here, the light soul stone, is my favorite one because of the noise it makes.
You like that?
Deleted. No Cyrus? Nope, no Cyrus. Because of the Kate route, you pick up the sorcerer and you put that onto Tressa, and then from there you have evasive maneuvers on Tressa. So this route's actually faster by a good bit. There's another route that's much harder, in my opinion, to pick up, which actually only uses 3 characters instead of 4. You're going to be using Ulbrich, Tressa, and Therian instead of using Primrose, but I like the safety, and especially for a marathon setting, I would much rather have the safety. Another weird thing with this route is even though it's completely RNG dependent on if you get the Kate or not, which is, like I said, a 3% encounter, you actually have a much easier time doing this route than other routes. I find this route much safer than even the quote-unquote safe route that a lot of people run, which uses Hunette and Therian? Yeah, Hunette, Therian, Cyrus. So unlike every other encounter that I have gotten so far, this encounter is almost guaranteed to happen. It's incredibly rare not to get it. So, just my luck though, we're not able to run away. There we go. Took 3 different tries. So we have a little bit that we're going to be doing. We're going to be heading up to one town to start Tressa's Chapter 2 first, actually, instead of picking up our 4th character. Forgot to mention that. It's a little bit more optimal to tag this town and do some movement around with this before we get our last character, which is Therian. There's also, like, an interesting thing that I'll be showing off a bit later, which is picking up an extra item for safety. And that item is really weird. You either can... It either saves you time by, like, a lot, and I'll explain that once we see it, or it doesn't save you any time. In fact, it actually has the potential more likely than not to lose you time, but I much prefer having the safety net of the item that I pick up. Here we're buying a bunch of stones because we're a merchant. We obviously know what isn't good as a valued product, so we buy a bunch of dusty stones, and that's about it. There's not much else to the story of this world. We buy stones, we try and sell them. Some big grumpy old man goes, "No, you're not allowed to sell stones in my city," and then kicks us out. Oh, that's the wrong. That was the wrong chest. I need to pick up that gold chest up there. Okay, and here we're also buying a few soul stones because soul stones are very useful. Okay, now that we have all the fun dusty stones that actually sell for significantly more money, we go and try and sell more of them, and then people yell at us because we don't have a license to set up shop in town. So that's what I'm going to do. I actually don't fully remember what the story is. It's been quite a while since I paid attention to this section. Oh no, the sad music starts. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to be doing a little bit of movement around the world again. We're coming back to Grandport because in here we get a couple of items, which are really good. I think it's actually a bit more optimal to do this warp later, but I'm just going to go off of what I know instead of trying to risk it and do it the slightly faster way. Because in case something really bad goes on, it's nice to have the extra soul stone from this. That was the soul stone, and here is another $30,000 that we're going to pick up, and we're going to use that very soon. I'm going to warp back here, and then we're going to pick up our next character. Sadly, like I said, this is the last boss that we can just use only soul stones on. And then we have to actually put in a bit of effort. I'm glad though that this route thankfully uses like most of my favorite characters. If I can only trade out Ulbrich, that would be great. Ulbrich is not a bad character, he's just kind of boring. His entire story is essentially, I'm a grumpy old man who got mad at not being good at war, and then his end story is, never mind, I am good at it.
It's a good day back.
God, I haven't heard the English voices in so long. Can you just run, please? Just run away. Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Tressa. Theory and story is basically bad guy made him turn into a thief, and now he's going to go beat up said bad guys a bunch. Again, here, you want to not hit yes on listening to his backstory because it wastes way too much time. I don't think I've actually ever listened to his backstory in a... God, it's been a long time. I think it's been like almost 2 years since I first played this. Don't get the encounter in here, please. Okay. So we're guaranteed to have an encounter in this room. Like, it's just too big of a room to be able to run through all the way. And so I wanted to be able to save one of the soul stones that we have. So, right here. Thank you, Therian.
I'm ready. You like that? The show is over.
So if we got an encounter in the other room, it would have been a little bit scary. He may have died. Reminds me of Joker. Yeah, he just... Bad guy made him steal stuff. That's the best way to explain him.
Let's get this over.
I'm ready.
Okay, ads are gonna get deleted. God, I forgot his laugh is so great. It's for the most part faster in most runs to run Japanese voice actors, so I don't listen to English very often. Cool, that's the end of his story, by the way. We're not gonna listen to any more of anybody else's story except for Tressa. Basically, that was, hey, bad guy was stealing or making bad decisions in our town, so we went ahead and we gave him a nice crisp high five just now after throwing a bunch of rocks at him. We didn't do anything else. That clashed together. Nice high five, just like that. So yeah, now everybody else is just gonna follow me around and like explore my story, and then that's it. There's probably, we're going up to the next town, which is probably my favorite, like, city music in the game. It's not my favorite theme in the game overall, but it's definitely my favorite city's theme. Something about it is just very calming. I'm also going to pick up an item up here for safety, which is going to be something that we sell later on. We're not going to actually use this again. So this item sells for 2,000 money. We don't need it, since we do get a couple of them throughout the run, but it is so nice to have, because that 2,000 money can make the difference between having to do some really risky things in a very high level dungeon, so we can get up to the right amount of money, or we just have it. I don't want to count how many stumbling over words, but I think you all understand what I mean. Don't want to count how many runs have been saved by picking up that single chest. That only wastes a little bit of time. And for this one, like I said, it either saves or it wastes time, and that entirely is depending on the next screen. We may or may not actually get an encounter. If we don't get an encounter, we save time. If we do get an encounter, we didn't really lose a ton of time, but we definitely didn't save anything. And that entirely just depends on coming up here. If we don't get an encounter here, we can use this in the next screen, and we don't have to do a save warp. And if we don't have to do the save warp, that in and of itself is more than saving time for picking up the stone there. It also saves us time for buying an extra large stone. I've seen people buy an extra stone here just to get through it. But buying the stone, you also have to go out of your way for extra money, and that extra money wastes time. So hopefully, let's see if we get it. So close.
I'll make this
Thank you, Therian.
Victory shall be mine.
There we go.
Have a taste of this.
So we have to, sadly, we had to do a save warp or a save quit to reset our step count in here. If we didn't get this encounter, then I'll show you what happens. Basically, you run through this entire section, and instead of having to... Well, it's not even a save quit. We actually abuse autosave, which is kind of fun. For some reason, this is one of the only sections of the game that doesn't reset your step count after going through a load screen. So we're gonna have the autosave go off. I'm just gonna do that. But obviously, ideally, if you don't get the encounter outside, you would continue going, get the encounter in here, kill the encounter there, and then you'd be good to go. And that saves all the time that it just took there to have the autosave, go into the next room, quit out to the main menu, walk back into the next room, and then be able to continue moving. You get to about here before your next encounter starts. Here we're going to be doing a quick menu, mostly just setting everybody up with the abilities that they all need. Nope. Give, thank you. Oh, I maybe should have saved, but okay. We're gonna hope that we don't get bad turn order here.
Let's get down to business.
Victory shall be mine.
We got bad turn order.
Have a
Very
taste
cool.
of this.
Having 2 attacks back to back like that basically guarantees that you're dead. Nice. So that's very unlucky. So one of the hardest bosses in the run, you kind of have to rely just on not having one of the ads decide that it's going to attack first. If he decides to only have one person go, then you're good, but having any of the ads, ugh. It's like a 50-50 chance if they use... what was it called? It was called Violent Slash, I believe. Just hits you repeatedly over and over and over again, and it's awful. Alright, let me redo that and actually make the save there. Here, now we don't have to redo the menu in case we get bad luck again.
Now, let's get down to business.
Alright, this is basically perfect.
You like that?
Have at you. I think not.
My turn now. Try this on the side.
Now then.
That's fine, actually.
Out of my way.
Just kidding, wasn't quite fine. How do I fix this, actually? Oh no, this is really bad.
The battle is truly joined.
Oh no, this is actually really bad.
Have a taste of this.
I don't think this is gonna kill. Oh no, I have to just redo this fight, I think, since there's not really a good backup for it. Yeah, I am a ton of damage under. So, I got stupid luck, which happens here. Might be able to...
Come and fight.
This isn't gonna do anything, is it? Yeah. Alright, we just got bad luck again. Because of who he ended up killing, we have to kind of just
I'm ready.
pray that we can go through this.
The battle, I think not.
I'm ready.
Oh, why? Marathon luck, dude. It's awful. Yeah, and then we're just dead here. There's nothing I can really do.
No, I think not.
No, you don't.
I am ready.
Alright, well, time to retry this again. Omar is probably the only boss in the game that honestly can give this much difficulty.
I think
You have to rely on way too many factors for this route. Or for the any run with Tressa specifically. You can kind of just sit there and be mean. You can get horrible turn order. You can have that happen. He can have his little minion dudes attack beforehand. It's just all bad. It would have been okay if I had slightly better turn order because Therian could have been able to use his ability, but of course, not gonna happen in a marathon setting.
Now, let's get down to business.
I am ready.
And of course, one of the goons
You
goes
like
first.
that?
Don't do Violent Slash. And we're dead. No, we're not dead. Okay.
have a taste of this.
Let me help.
That wasn't the right one.
Have at you.
Okay. We can kill him here, thankfully.
I see.
Oh, that was horrible both times. So the ability that we missed out on was called Armor Corrode. Basically, just lowers their defense by a whole bunch, and because we didn't have that, we couldn't deal enough damage. Why didn't that kill? Is that gonna kill? No. Why are we getting such bad luck right now? I'm actually very confused what's going on.
No, you don't.
Victory shall be. I think not. No, I think not.
No, you don't.
Why is this going? Oh, Omar, why? Of course, the one fight that can go drastically wrong, of course, had to go wrong. Essentially what's going on is, because of the turn order especially, it's just not wanting to work. If we didn't get such bad luck, my PB is a 43 time, and as you can probably tell, we are not close to that.
Now, let's get down to business.
Alright, please don't be
That
mean.
is truly joy. Have a taste of this.
Okay.
Take this.
There we go. Things are a little bit nicer.
I am ready.
Have at you. Death by 1,000 cuts.
I see.
Try this on the side.
And then this should be able to fully kill.
Come
If it doesn't, I'm going to be very confused. There we go. Ugh.
The
I had to deal with a bunch of really dumb turn order issues. So right here and the Kate are the two biggest reset points for anybody running Tressa. Or specifically for this route. And if you're running like any other route, that fight right there is your biggest reset point. Because as you can tell, too many things need to go right for it to actually function. After this, the fight's pretty consistent. The next fight, unless I make a mistake, is going to be 100% flawless. We're not even going to be touched. It's going to be great. And then the final boss of this, for the most part, it can either go perfectly and not have a single issue, or it might have a little bit of improv, but shouldn't be difficult, necessarily. Not the same as Omar. That is just a very different level of a fight with RNG. Yeah, RNG turn order, you have to worry about who, not just like what enemies are going in what turn, but also what your party turn order is, and you have to rely on a lot of X character can't die, you can't not have armor corrosion up, you can't do an extra hired help, so if things just go wrong, you're kind of screwed and just have to rely on luck. It's very uncommon for me to see Omar being that rude multiple times back to back. Usually he's only doing that like once, and then it's like, oh, okay, you're forgiven, you can go on. So having him do that 3 times is really unfortunate. Okay, we didn't get the horrible luck there though. This screen, however, is also very dangerous, and seeing the amount of bad luck that we've been getting recently with the rest of this run, wouldn't be surprised if we get more bad luck. So this is going to be our last save quit, and we can just kind of keep going on from here. There we go. So here we have to pick up a chest and kill a giant saber-tooth tiger. So, hopefully we don't get the encounter. For the most part, if your movement is okay, you should be fine, but like the rest of this run, it's not been going super amazing. Okay, we're fine. And then this fight's just fun, doesn't have to worry about anything. It's a very scripted fight, so anybody can learn the strat and be completely consistent with it.
No, I think not.
I see.
I'm ready. You like that?
Thank you, Primrose. I forgot your English is that.
To ashes
Victory shall come my way.
Oh yeah, the move right there, 1,000 Spears. It's guaranteed 3 hits. We're not guaranteed anything else after that.
Take this.
So it's a little bit sketchy sometimes on one of the fights coming up because she has 4 armor, not 3. And so if Aldrich goes first, we kind of just have to pray that he hits her 4 times.
Come and fight.
It doesn't always happen though.
No, I think not.
what to do?
Alright, collect. We're gonna use steel here. And then we're gonna kill it off with the soul stone.
I'm ready. You like that?
See, perfect consistent fight, no issues.
The show is over.
Only Omar was similar. Alright, so now we're off to the final boss of this specific run. Which, in my opinion, is one of the more fun fights to actually learn. There's a lot more improv that goes into it than any other fight in the game. Oh yeah, here. One of the few times you get to hear any of the English voice acting. Perfect. You just run away. So, we're gonna sell a bunch of stuff. We're gonna hopefully have the right money. I should be fine. Where is that? 93,000. Yep, we're perfect. So, ideally, you have, like I said, between $88,000 and $90,000. So having 83,000 basically means that that extra thing that we picked up was perfect. We also got a few discounts throughout the run. That's just one of Tressa's hidden things. Where whenever she buys an item from someone, they might give her a discount on the listed price. And we got some of the bigger ones, which is good. The very last item that you buy gave us a $1,200 discount. And then we also got a couple discounts on some soul stones, which overall I think saved me around 2 grand. So without those, we'd only be around 91,000. So the extra chest that we picked up wasn't super needed, but I mean, I'm still going to take the extra money. Picking up this chest entirely for safety, depending on turn order and a couple other things that could potentially go wrong, it's nice to have, because it allows us to guarantee a kill on this boss. This one I might go a little bit quiet for, just due to the fact that it is a lot of paying attention to turn order, paying attention to who dies and what turns, and BP management and all kinds of things. So depending on how the start goes, I probably won't be talking much. Let's see what the turn order is. Alright, just hit her 4 times, please. Oh, perfect. Okay, the fight's free as hell.
I see.
Yeah, at this point, the fight's relatively consistent. I just have to not make any mistakes myself. Like, right there, Donate BP was sitting on top of Ulbrich, and if I did that, run would have been kind of oof. Put on Insights. Now, this is where most of our money is going to go. We're spending $30,000 every time we do this, but we're dealing around 24,000 damage each time. So it's kind of useful, to say the least. Alright, we also taught Ulbrich an ability called Insight. It lets him take every single hit, because if we didn't have that, we'd just be dead right there. That ability, what it does, what she did, is it hits 5 times randomly. We literally can't survive it, period. And it's very scary.
Come and fight.
Out of my way. Here.
Yeah, this will kill. Good. Thank you. Alright, and then bye, Esme. Wait. Oh no! That's really bad. We're dead here. I didn't pay attention to something. I actually lost my defense boost. So what would have been good was my own fault. Of course. We got the perfect fight, and then I immediately messed it up because I didn't do something. Alright, let's see what she does.
I see.
Hit him, thank you. Oh no. It's fine. This fight's not that bad. Thigh Mommy wins.
I'm ready.
So the whole have to lower her defense thing is accurate still. This is fine, isn't it? Yeah, this is fine. Okay, now as long as I don't make a massive dumb mistake again, we should be okay. I say that with giant quotes around it.
Come and fight.
Victory shall be mine. Come, here.
Okay. Throw that on to you. So yeah, this entire fight is entirely based off of BP management, based off of turn order, based on just a whole bunch of manipulations that we're trying to do to break the game. But obviously, if you're me, you make silly mistakes sometimes. Should be fine, right? Yeah.
Come and fight.
Alright, we didn't mess up on the damage either, so I can now safely do this. And just for extra safety,
Out of my way.
I can throw an extra pomegranate onto her, so she has a full charge of her ability.
Come and fight.
Okay, there we go. That's how the fight should go, but obviously made a very big mistake there. Alright, the run is almost over. The time's going to be coming up in about a minute or so, or 30 seconds or so. This game ends on the last cutscene skip, instead of ending on the final fight, since we have a few little bits of movement. So time should end
Fair and well.
now. There we go. And that was Octopath. I probably didn't explain the game too terribly well. Horrible luck throughout that entire thing. Man, those encounters were really bad. And then, obviously, messing up the final boss was kind of funny. I think it was still under an hour for the total time, which, for how bad that was, I'm happy about. We got the cape, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, oh boy, that run was something else, especially with the level of RNG that we got hit with. So thank you everybody for watching. I don't really know if I have anything else to say, so if any of the commenters want to take over from here, I'm good to go.
Alright. Thank you for the run, Zoim. It was very entertaining, very
God,
it was
the luck
something
was
with the luck.
horrible.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on and sticking through it though. I mean, it was I've had runs like that before in some of my games, and I gotta say it's not a lot of fun, so we appreciate you coming on and showing off an awesome.
Of course, if you ever want me back, let me know.
Absolutely. So for everyone in chat, we got some stuff coming up next. We have the Sailor Moon block. We got 2 Sailor Moon games. I didn't even know there was 1 Sailor Moon game, let alone enough to have a whole block. So I'm looking forward to seeing what those are, even. We also got some incentives coming up with those if you want to snipe which Sailor Moon character we're playing as. Pretty spicy stuff.
Alright, am I good to hop out?
What's up, gamers? It's your boy back again. We're gonna return to a question I posed last week just to get some dialogue going in the chat. What did everyone have for breakfast? Let's get some spam on that going. Just like to remind everyone what we're doing this marathon. So every day, 15,000 children die before their 5th birthday, most from preventable causes. Save the Children will do whatever it takes to ensure all children survive, learn, and are protected through 3 global goals by 2030. Number 1, no child should die from preventable causes. Number 2, all children should have access to a quality basic education. And number 3, no child should be a victim of violence. It's all very good stuff there, going towards a great cause. As most of the people in the chat were children at one point, and you can imagine what it might have been like if you were unfortunate enough to be, some children in some parts of the world. So, any amount whatsoever can. So even just $1 can help out. Again, we are a little bit behind, so I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it up here. So we're going to take it away with another video, and we're going to get on with Sailor Moon, so get excited, everyone.
त्यही त मैले चाहिँ धेरै पैसा कमाएर मेरो मम्मीलाई चाहिँ एकदम सहयोग गर्ने इच्छा थियो मेरो। यो काम गर्दा चाहिँ धेरै दुःख भयो, पैसा थोरै पाए तिमीहरूले, यो औषधि बेच्यो भने चाहिँ तिमीहरूले धेरै पैसा पाउँछौ अरू तिमीहरूले राम्रो पनि लाउन पाउँछौ, राम्रो खान पाउँछौ भनेर चाहिँ तिनीहरूले चाहिँ अब यो दबाई बेचेर आइसकेपछि चाहिँ अब पैसा धेरै हुन्छ, तिमीहरू आफ्नो घरमा गएर तिम्रो आफ्नो मम्मी बुवाहरूलाई सहयोग गर्न सक्छौ। त्यही त त्यहाँ पुगेपछि चाहिँ अब मैले सोधेँ कि तिनीहरूले यहाँ के काम गर्ने भनेर सोद्धाखेरि चाहिँ अब उनले भन्यो कि अब यस्तै काम गर्ने हो, तिमीलाई चाहिँ 1 लाख रुपियाँमा बेचेर गएको छ, तिमी यहीँ बसेर अब यही धन्दा गरेर चाहिँ तिमी अब 2 दिन यहीँ बस्नुपर्छ। मैले चाहिँ सोचेको थिएँ कि वस्तुहरूलाई मात्रै बेच्छ भनेर, तर मान्छेलाई पनि बेचेर चाहिँ आफू चाहिँ एकदम स्वार्थी बन्दो रहेछन्।